Okay, so it's 4:20 on. It's 4:20 on 4:20 when I picked up the phone because I was like, okay, I'm gonna start because I was having this thing going in my brain and it starts going too fast and I feel like I'm losing information or something. And so I decided I'm gonna start. And the thing that motivates me too is something that's drug related. And so 420 is the representation of weed or some drugs, man. I don't know. But anyways, 420. If you say, like, if you hear people going like, yeah, 420, that means they're talking about smoking or something. So anyways, but it's a date and there's a celebration and you get discounts and stuff. So I don't know where it all comes from or whatever, but anyways, so 420, and then I looked at the time and it was 420, and I was going to talk about it, and I was like, that's trippy. And then I just, please just come over here, okay? Stella, I'm going to do this. She just wants to control me. But I know she doesn't feel good. The stank. I was looking it up on that, but I want to finish this. So 420. So then when I sat down, I was going to start, and I was like, oh, right away my nose is running, and I'm like, oh, I better get a thing for my nose. So I go in there to get a handkerchief, and come back out. I sit down, turn the phone on to start, and it says 421, and I was like, because I already have it in my head going, you know, like 420, and then I saw the date was 420, and I was like, well, that's trippy. And then the 421, so what is it trying to tell me? Why did it suddenly go to 421 instead of 420, 420, 420? And to me, I got the feeling it was because we're counting, we're going in the right direction. So we don't want to get hung up on this stuff. This is one thing, is we don't want to get hung up and down and depressed and it's never going to get better. God love sucks. It is, it's way more of a recognition. It's way more of a, I always see, and I don't know if you've ever been on one, but there's these rides, like back when I was a kid, go to Six Flags in the jungle ride. But there's also a jungle ride like at Disneyland. So I think this jungle, I swear to God, there's a jungle ride the one we have out here. I can't think of what it's called. But anyways, we have a big amusement park out here that's right at the Idaho-Washington border, I think. And Silverwood, that's what it's called. And I'm thinking we have a jungle ride there. If it's not that we don't, if we don't have a jungle ride, we have a train ride. But anyway, so the jungle ride. So this reference keeps coming to my head on certain things that I'll say, and so here where I was just seeing it, it is because you want to go through life kind of like viewing it, you know, viewing it and taking it all in, but not getting hung up, not trying to control it. When you're trying to control it, where does that come from? It comes from getting real hung up and it not going with the flow. It is when it is based on fear too. It's a lot of fear when you're trying to control things. And it is, and if you've been a controlling person, which I've been told by people you're a controlling person, but don't ever forget that it's all based on perspective. You could be around some other controlling person and then, you know, it's all a spectrum. So don't be caught up in like, because you're a controlling person, well, I'm just a controlling person. Don't give yourself that. Like, let it go. Pull yourself in where you want to be and be like, yeah, everybody's got some aspect of wanting to control things. That's just the way it is. What are we doing here? Like, we're working on shit. And so so yeah, big deal. Don't sit here and beat yourself up because, well, I'm controlling and nobody likes me. The nobody likes me is because that is what you're here to experience. Maybe you were a real dick before and you were constantly pushing, making people not like people or something. And so then you come in to experience what's it like to not be liked, to have people pushed away from you. You know, that the experiences are very, you know, out there. They're all over the place. So it's not, I mean, they're crazy storylines. And we've lived tons and tons of them. Like, just like that lady losing those kids all at once. When Crystal was saying, you know, how sad. And I just, right away, it always takes me to the fact that we've all lived these lives. We've all lived these huge losses like that. We're just going through them right now as other people are. And they lived other ones, other things, and now they're going to that because it has the, the, the entire expression of the experience. The whole lesson is wrapping up. And so there's a lot of people who are, going through some serious fucking shit, man. But that doesn't, I mean, we've all gone through this kind of really major loss and stuff. That is what has got you so fucking pissed, man. It's not just shit that happened in this life. This one, you had shit happen in other lives, like horrible shit, and you had to, and there was nobody, telling us how to deal with anything throughout. I don't know if it goes all the way back to Atlantis where they were trying to connect. And then right away, like the Roman Empire, the church, it was always some aspect of control over someone's spirit. And your spirit is free. They want to control it, and then we put it in the prison, be allowed. And it's like, so anyways, we've lived these lives that were cut short and traumatic and dramatic, and horrible things happened to us, and we've gone through horrible things, and we've done horrible things. We've played the part of the tax collectors. We've played all the different things. We've been everything, and we've been left with a lot of trauma. And so then you keep it hangs on you. The only way to get rid of it is to go back in and like let it be freed, like pull free from it. And so it is this like karmic kind of tension that holds you, and you got to set yourself free. And that's why, we're all doing this, let's setting ourselves free. But you have to connect to your spirit. You have to connect to what your spirit is, what your spirit does, why you exist and stuff, so that you can move forward. And it's so much deeper than people think, like, oh, this is our one life and we come here and this is our problems. But I know this is it's way more than that. And all of these experiences that you have coming to the surface are all more complex storylines that you had before. And this is like a wrap up. So you have a lot of different things to bring you experience. And so, I mean, fuck, find a person that had a good, happy childhood, no problems whatsoever, not a problem in the world, not a death, nothing. Good luck on that. Give them a gold star if you can find one. And they're like lotto winners, because most of us came here to go through some shit, because it is a trigger to the other shit we need to purge out. But you have to get into this more magical, more mind kind of way of the world being a dream, and you're making it into your reality. And you because everything is like a dream, but you have to take the focus. And this is what's trippy too, because it's like, oh, it's so much like the focus, like a microscope or something, it's like, oh God, they're so annoying. Especially if it's a lot of different ones, like, seems like that you can have ones with two different lenses to see things, but no matter what, it's such a like fine line in there to actually be able to see what you're looking at. It's a lot of like wiggling. And that's, like what life is like. And there's a lot of, the wiggle is finding the balance, the place in between. And the place where people are stuck and hung up is the black or white. It's this or it's that. And you dress funny, so I know that we don't agree on it. And so there's a lot of attitude, there's a lot of superiority, ego, and stuff like that gets created. But the things that you come born into are to like trigger you into your experiences. And at this time, there's supposed to be this remembering, you can call it awakening, remembering, whatever. It's like you coming back to you. And so then And in that process is when you would start, like, to me, you would start understanding your communication. You would start spending more time talking to your guidance and stuff. So, talking to your higher self, which, that is kind of in the guidance. It's kind of like, I don't know, I swear to God, it is like, these people are like, well, I channel God, God Himself. There is, there is a different kind of like tone when you are talking to your guides and then when you're talking to your higher self. There is a more impending force that comes in of like power and sophistication. It's more of a for sure kind of. So yeah, your higher self is going to feel a lot more present. It's I don't know, it's like the main character came to the party and everybody turns to see. So you have all this communication, but you're still like the main character. And when you speak to you, it's like the all knowing, because it is the all knowing, because they already know. They're just watching themselves, and sometimes they'll come to your rescue, but it all depends. They can't just come in, and I would be defeating the whole point of what we're doing. So we're not here to be rescued. We're here to expand. We're here to, like, how I see it is like this big wad of bubble gum, and we're here to blow biggest bubble we can, which goes with those other reference of those visuals they were giving me of this this part, like this you is just coming out of this energy. It's an expression coming out of the energy, and it's like all these things, we're all expressions of this energy. And and that's where we go and we can see ourselves, and then we can experience. It's like, it's kind of, it's very a lot of different things, because it makes me feel super emotional. It makes me feel super excited. But what is like, the expression is so fast, and it's like, okay, so kind of like see it like kids out at like a mountain kind of thing, like a lake or a pond or something, and like the fun thing, if it's swinging on the rope and flying out, or the tires swing, or jumping off the bridge, whatever it is, it's one of those kind of things. And the actual jump, that's life. That's all life is the actual jump. And so in your guides and stuff are like the kids on the bridge, cheering you and hollering at you, are you okay? uh, See, that's gonna make me, oh, that's very emotional. It's just like you can see it in more than one level too. You can see it on the bridge, but you can see the people too, the actual guides. Oh God, that's emotional. Hold on. Oh my gosh. So the so life, the expression of self, is like this snap. It's like this quick, instant thing. But here we're in the thing, see, and we're in it. So it to us it feels slow, but see, it's this fast thing. And the more that we can really appreciate it, but see, we're in it in the slowed version of it because it's so fast. But we are in this focus. So our higher self has this focus. It is almost like it's like this big energy of you that sits up in the heavens. It's in a higher vibration where it can have time to do this shit. This is what you can do up in the higher vibrations. And so it's up in the high vibration and the core of self. And then it can send out, just like it's the same thing as like astral projecting. So people here who can figure out like to astral project, it's the same thing. And where you can start with that is start. Okay, let me see if I can explain it right. So you start thinking of yourself, like find a place in your living room, like a shelf a corner, anywhere, and start imagining yourself being there. Once you can imagine yourself being in the corner, start looking out from the corner and see what it looks like from being up there. That's where you start to astral project. That's where you start taking your consciousness and moving it somewhere else and seeing from a different perspective. And so, yeah, there's all of and there's people who have great abilities with that. Like they can go and leave and go to other places. They can go to there's lots of shit you can do when you can start doing that. That's why I was saying it's kind of like what time travel is. It's a focus. You have to have this focus in your mind that you can let yourself go somewhere. And here, like our higher selves can time travel, obviously. But that's kind of like what they're doing here. But us, that's like them taking their expression and then that expression making a new expression, which I don't know. That could be what this whole ascension thing is this whole new link that we're creating with our higher self. And we're like the in-betweeners. Like, I don't know. We'll know more. But how it seems to me is it's like your higher self is up in the, heavens, doing his thing. Because it can do a lot of things. It can do a lot of things at once. And just like how you can have a lot of conversations and thoughts going at once, it can do a lot of things at once. And so, but also when you're in a meditation, it takes focus. And so, oh, that's why. Oh, okay. Oh gosh, my back. And oh yeah, and I saw a thing yesterday where one of these girls that talks to dogs, which I feel like I talk to the dogs and listen to dogs, but it just takes connecting, it takes listening, it takes paying attention, reading or understanding their communication and stuff. So it's just giving the focus. Everything is giving the focus, and so she said, yeah, the dogs are going through it too. And she said, if your dogs are being emotional, needy, hungry, really sleepy, which mine are, all those things, but the sleeping, man, they sleep so much lately, but I have been too. So, and my mom, and she just keeps questioning it. Like, something's weird because it's like something just comes over me and I can't stay awake. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, sometimes I think it's what they're spraying, but there's more going on. And I keep trying to sink it in and sink it in, but there's always the firewall resistance, Yeah, but because I wanted to talk about this urine thing too. I think I had already started that conversation, but I wanted to say more on that. But let me get back on this other thing. Let me finish what I was saying about that. Okay. Oh God, see that sometimes there's a lot. And it's like, okay, what do I? Okay, so so life, so your higher self uh, is like you birthed into an experience. It's like in the experience is how it is so chained together in such perfect synchronicity, and how people are so resistant from their lessons. Well, you got to question yourself, why am I resistant? Why can't I see that I'm not perfect? Why can't, what is the resistance that you build to not being able to use life for what it's here for? And so the higher self is like in a meditation, say, and it can focus in which to go into the realm. And so it's like you come in on a spaceship almost. You're an orb shooting into the realm, and then as soon as you shoot in, you shoot out. Like it's like I think that the soul enters into the uterine facility. I think it comes in there. It comes into the embryo, in and out, but it doesn't just stay in for the experience. It just depends on if it wants to focus and see what that experience is, because it can pull its focus from there, and it can pull out. Then it seems that once the birth process, once this snap happens and it pulls you in, and then you are in, then your connection has to go from inside. You don't get to just leave so easy. And even when I came out of my body, it felt very much like, oh shit, am I safe? Like, that is what I've always taken from it. And I've always, when I go and listen to like these astral projectors and stuff, because I'll go and listen to try and see like what it is I'm doing, or, you know, just like I didn't have any idea I was channeling until I went and listened to what those people were talking about, what channeling was. And then, because I just been doing it since I was a little kid. So I just thought that's just life. I thought that's how we lived. But I really couldn't understand people's reactions to me because I thought everybody was the same. So I didn't know. And that's been my whole life until 2020. So then, okay, so you have this projection of self, and it goes in with this flash, and it's like this orb speeding in, and then it has a destination, and it just goes in the portal of the other being, and it comes out like this other portal, like it's like the entryway into the womb is the birth canal, is this the entry for the soul's experience. And so and it has a marked date, like it's very specific over when it can come in. And so it comes in because of all the storylines and the very distinct transits and meeting points and stuff. That's why you come in like on a zodiac thing. It's your transit, it's your meeting point. It's the exact moment in time when you enter into your thing. If you wanted to track it, it would have more to do your entry like that than your years of being alive. Like, well, you've been alive these many, you're gonna probably no. It will have nothing to do with that. Which I was walking her yesterday, and her stink. I looked it up, and I don't think it's the pyometra thing because I don't see pus or anything. But it says bacterial vaginosis, which I've had that before. I think most women have had that. But in the categories of why they could have it, one of it is if they've got arthritis and they can't clean themselves well. So I'm going to just do some more with the apple cider vinegar and more with the CHDX, but this is very vaginosy. So anyways, but I still have them on the that stuff. And I'm still doing it, and I'm definitely getting some flushing of the system out, and where it's like, oh, maybe I should cut back some, but then it's always like, God, but it's removing all these toxins, so I want rid of those things. Okay, so let me get a swig of this and think back for a sec. Okay, so the higher self has this projection of self that goes into this experience. It has the exact transit of meeting place because that's what life is all about. Everything is precise and exact. So you zoom in at this exact meeting point, which you're a flight out is an exact meeting point. You can't dodge it. It can't dodge you. It's your own. Just like that birth canal, you couldn't go to the wrong one. You can end up in the wrong house, but that's a whole storyline, and we got a few of those going on. There's a lot of movies playing out right now. It's kind of funny, but the movies were always real storylines, but there's a whole lot of these storylines playing out right now. I've seen a couple of people being called because now they're found out their kids were switched to the hospital. It's like, and I just watched a movie about that right before I started hearing it, which sometimes it starts feeling like, am I in control of this place? Like I think something and then it starts happening everywhere. It kind of weirds me out sometimes. So anyways, that was definitely wheeze, but oh my God, you should see how much they've been spraying. Like, fuck, dude. And the runny nose, and the dog's not feeling good. Whatever's going on. I don't fucking know, man. The sky is turning weird. Everything is just, it's glitched. The whole thing is glitching out. Everything's weird now, man. So, whatever. It's way harder to cough. I like coughing when there's more, but no, I don't want to go back there. I want this to heal, though, whatever. There's this scar tissue and this, I feel like my throat it gets attacked a lot, and it's weird how my throat chakra opening was so much about speaking my truth, and that just makes me think of throughout how many lives was I held back to not speak my truth, because it's very triggering to me, like YouTube manipulating with my stuff to like it's very triggering, because I feel like I think a lot of us through life, we were, not allowed to speak, not allowed to say our truth, not allowed, there's been a lot of things through history that we've all had these dealings. And that's why we're here to have these other, to get these opportunities, like to speak your truth or whatever, to clear out this chakra system so that you can ascend, so you can, is you as your being, is your, like your DNA, your chakras, is your energetic pole, your who you are. And so, and then it has an exit point, so then it bounces back to the higher self. With the higher self, it's just like this little, like, woo, like this moment in time. That's why, like you go home and then all of a sudden it's um well, you just left. You weren't gone long. But here, when you're in it, because it's so slowed down, you're in this other like time bubble. Like I can see it from on the outside of it, it goes fast. But when you're on the inside, it's very slow. And so that's the difference. That's like the firmament in the experiment experience, because the higher vibration, it's really fast. But in order to go in the slow version to experience it, you got to go in the lower vibration, so that it has this barrier, like in it. So then, like, we're birthed into this dimensional pull to go in, but then we come right through this canal and go into, and so like where we see ships coming in, see, it's like all different levels, man, of vibration. And so but they weren't all coming into the firmament because it's too heavy. And they only but they're still have been around us always, because that's what the universe and galaxy is. It's all around us, and it's all these portals and stuff. So there's always been portals here, so they've always been able to go down into the ocean. Well, that's a whole nother world, and so that's not the same as the world we're in. And so they can go in different places, and also the ocean can lead to a whole nother place coming out way over outside of the ice wall, kind of like a submarine, kind of. And the so anyways, they've always been around and they've always been going. They've tried to communicate, but we are well, we're resistant through fear because we're misled. And so the um so the but so they haven't been coming into through the firmament to come into, like, hang out with us, because we didn't want them to. We were scared of them. And even though throughout time is there's been this closing off of however it was, because there's been times when we lived around all of the magic, around the giants and fairies, and no, like, and that doesn't mean that everybody got along. Like, the folklore, the old folklore is where, that's like true. It's like, well, I would hear old folklore stuff and I would be like, that's true. And other people are like, oh God, that's not true. I'd be like, that's fucking true. There's things in the forest for sure, which even in the new uh, commercial for the new Toyota commercial, shows a dad and a daughter loading up. They're going camping or something, and they get in their thing and take off. And as they're going through the forest is coming alive. There's things turning up into giants. There's little, little, I don't know what you call them, little ogres or some little mud ogres, and they're throwing mud at it, and trees are turning into things and turning into people or whatever. So oh yeah, and then they get to their campsite. They start their fire, look up, and some zips over in the sky, and then their slogan, going out from a trip, the Great Frontier, whatever their slogan is, I don't know, but but they're showing, see, they're showing this stuff. It's all coming into what we're going to be living. And, but we won't be like, it won't be the same like with skinwalkers and stuff like where you really did need to fear things that were out in the forest and people didn't know. And then our government making trade with them, so we can be eaten instead of telling us so that they could get technology. Like, what in the creep world is the hell? That just shows the vibration, because that's not high vibration. And so but when we go into this new part, a higher vibration, yeah, there's going to be all sorts of different kinds of beings, but they're all going to be like loving towards one another. Like, that's why you gotta have to be in harmony with earth and stuff. And oh yeah, that's what I was going to say about with Stella. So I was walking and I was thinking about, she's just, it's always one thing after another. But I was thinking, and I was watching her walk, and I was thinking, the slow walk, and I was thinking, one day I'm going to miss this walk. I'm going to wish I had her to go on this walk, and I really want to soak it all in. I just want to look at her and stuff, and I was watching her, because she's just so cute. She's so well, she's just the cutest thing, and then just love her personality and her attitude, even though she can be such a little bossy bitch. But God, she's so cool of a soul. And so, because yesterday, Archie just goes to town sometimes and just will not fucking let Max go. And and then he keeps through. It's only since it's been getting really intense, he gets really like ready to fight. He started attacking Stella the other day over food. He started attacking Max last night over, I don't know, wanting to hump him or something. And Stella jumped up. She put a stop to that immediately. And like, she's quite the little pack master, and it's so cute too when we walk, because she walks with such pride. Like, I'm walking her and her puppies. Like, she's just so proud because like, she always had this mom instinct. She loves to be bossy, and she always had this. So I always told her I wanted to get her a puppy, but then all the things happen in life, and so then this is where we got to. I was gonna get her a little French bulldog because I thought that looks like a little puppy, and she always likes them when we go to the dog park. She just loves those dogs, and she'll just follow them around and follow them around, and they aren't scared of big dogs. Lots of little dogs are scared of big dogs, but not those ones, and or that I've seen at the dog park. I mean, they're just more socialized or whatever. You could probably find some French bulldog that hates big dogs, but anyways, the ones I've seen, and they always got along with her. So that's where I was gonna try and foster one of them and find if I could find a friend for her. But anyways, it ended up being pugs, which they look like a little family going. And she looks like she's got her little pups out walking in it. So she goes with pride, and it gives her her pack, and where it's not just being the boss, because they also appreciate having each other's backs. It's like they all have each other's backs. If one of them has a problem, they've all got a problem. And that's kind of like the unity that we need to get into. We got to quit dividing. We got to start seeing, like, man, and a pack can tear your ass up. Like, you don't want a pack of dogs on you. It's scary. And and I didn't know, because there's a positive and negative to everything. And so, yeah, I try and do a lot of getting control over when they get their attitude or whatever. But because like one of Mom's dogs will come down here, and then if they all decide like they're gonna go pack on him, and it's very intense, it's very bully bullshit. So but there was another thing too that I was thinking at the same time. Well, I'll see if it comes back to me. But anyways, so when we were walking though, and I was like looking at her and thinking, because I think about her as a big cat too, because I see a lot of her personality bringing that forward, but also the life that, where she was that to me, where she was the killer of me. And so anyways, I think of her a lot like a lion or whatever. So while I was walking, and I was thinking about how she walks like a lion, and then I always think of lions live 25 years, don't they? I'm not sure, but I was thinking, I swear lions live 25 years. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's just predator animals live longer because I'm sure like gazelles, like they probably don't live as long. Uh, so maybe animals that are uh, being the ones that the predators kill, like rabbits, uh, mice, all these different food sources, because I don't think there's a lot of animals killing a lion to eat a lion. So the highest in the food chain situation, because we can still get killed and eaten. And they could get killed, but I mean, there's certain animals like what's killing them? But there has been some washing up, whales and big fucking shit. It's been washing up, that has been killed, which I don't even know if you can believe all those stories. But now there's more stories too of all the homeless people are missing. So, and then seeing something in Washington State, which is another thing I wanted to talk about too. And but people are saying all the homeless people are disappearing. And so, I don't know, we can hope that it's not going into the food source. Hopefully they're going to rehab centers, but I guess remains to be seen. I mean, he did say that before. And he said that they were going to, ask if people wanted help. They were going to give them help. And, that's what we can hope. I mean, that's the energy we're going towards. Whatever's going to get us there, I don't know. Because everybody's going to find out they ate the homeless people, and then that's going to, that's the worst thing. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out because we're in the slowed down version to see how, to feel, not just see it, not just, read a book real quick, but to go in and feel, to play the character in the book and to go page by page of the experience. And so it's a very slowed down version of existence, but you learn or you gain more from the experience in that way. So the higher self can project in and project out of but that's what it's more like is astral projection, and that's why you can connect too. But see, that's why it's also not going to come in and rescue, because it's in the experience. You may feel like this experience is one thing, but your higher self doesn't feel that, and it can see what's the end. It knows what's going to happen, but that doesn't mean it's only going to send you in good experiences either, because it's looking for the bennies of the experience. It's trying to get the benefit. So and we are the projection of self to go in to have the experience. But we're not just this, we're a whole bunch of things. And so, anyways, it comes into the experience. And I got donuts on my mind for some reason. And donuts are my, they're my, whatever it's called, when you just want them all the time. Oh, yeah, I made some bread yesterday, so I have that yeasty bread. Okay, with a lot of butter. Maybe cinnamon too. Maybe I will do that. Cinnamon bread today. Anyways, just know that I'm just hungry. My stomach's about to start growling. It's already notified me. The hunger has began. So I think I finished my tea too. No, not quite. Let's see. It's probably too cold now. It's on the verge. Pretty cold. Okay, so it's pretty cold too. Okay, so, and with the weather, all this shit is crazy. They're having fucking tornadoes up in the mountains of Colorado. So, what they told us about science and the plains, why they had tornadoes, and now that doesn't matter anymore. They can come up in the mountains, up in the forest. Tornadoes can just go at any time, anywhere now. And they just come from nowhere. Same thing as like the hurricanes that can come up into places where there's never been a hurricane. So who knows what the fuck. They're just pulling their wind machines. But that was so windy here the other day. I couldn't believe it. My whole fence just went down at once. And then Max took off, of course. He's just immediately, boom, I'm out. I'm like, fucker. I'm sitting there. I'm going to try and lift it, put it back up by myself. And it was rough. So anyways, man, I'm all over the place. Let's see what all things I can whip into shape here. So, the dog's living 25 years. It seems to, a domesticated. I was like, you would think a domesticated animal that has food and everything taken care of it, plus vet care, right? That should extend their life. And it's shortened it, but they've got them on their food source, see. And the shorter those lives are, the more traumatic it is for us because we all get so sad when we connect to something and it dies. And so, but I was thinking, I bet you, like, I think elephants or something live really long, like 50, 60, like horses. Horses live really long. Like, there's a lot of animals that live pretty long. And I think giraffes, hippos, rhinos, lions. But anyways, if a lion does live 25 years, where I just don't even know where I got it from. I'm just walking and I look at her and I'm thinking about 25 years for a lion. So I bet you we can get animals, our pets, to live that long. And then I was thinking, well, why the hell aren't they? They get like everything taken care of. Well, because the system is some bullshit. And the domesticated animals, we're domesticated animals as far as they're concerned. So us to go and domesticate other animals, they don't give a shit about them. They're not really extending or making us healthier. Only if you go to the farm where they're going to feed your parts to a different thing, then you have to be on a special diet. But us, we can be poisoned. Is that we're just going back to each other, just food source. I don't know how. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, this is one thing too. I wouldn't want to be getting blood work done, because well, I had to get that, and so then I mean, maybe they would know my liver's a super liver or something, but I don't know. But it seems like that they could go after certain people's parts. Maybe there's just so many in the lab thing, but I don't know. It seems like that people could be followed, just like that one gangster girl was saying. They find you on Facebook, and then we go out and find you in real life. And but I don't know. This place is just weird. And whatever happens to you is what was meant to happen to you. There's no surprises that can happen. It's very, very. It's just like like how, yeah. Because I just saw, the blowing the bubble again and the bubble popping. Well, and the whole thing is gone. You can't mess with it. It goes out and then it comes back in. So there's all these people like, we're jumping time. We're just going all over the place. It's like, that's not how it works that I see. I don't see that. To me, I don't know, a lot about this quantum theory and stuff, all the stuff they're saying. So I don't go in and listen to all that stuff. So I don't know, I mean, there's I'm sure be new stuff to me that I'd never heard before. But but I just don't see, it would be like if you pulled yourself out to that degree, to me, you wouldn't stay. You'd have to be in a coma or something. You'd have to be dead or something. If your energy was pulled out of I don't know how people are sitting there like that we're jumping around, going into different lives. It's like you're blowing this bubble, but then this person's bubble, you're just jumping out of this bubble, running over to that bubble. Like I don't think you can do that. And to me, it's way more of an emotional mindset. It's the way you look at things. That changes your ability. Like the people who are in the negative darkness, they don't realize the part they're playing in it, that they're keeping themselves there. It's when you realize those, then you can start having, like, you start living in intention. You start living different. That is where you get this idea of you are controlling the energy, because on one sense of things, you are in control of the energy because you're making choices that put you into a more positive energy. So that is you going by intention and living towards this. And it takes mindfulness, it takes, reflection and stuff to like coordinate it. So you need, so in order to go from the negative timeline into a positive one, there is a restructuring. There's the bridge to get there, and it's the journey. It's the going on the journey to get to where you want to go. And along the journey, You are changing your vibration. Well, since we're all doing it at once, because this is this big, giant earthly event or universal event, it's this new Big Bang happening that it is, so everybody's doing it at once. And so it creates this whole, we're going to a whole new world. But a lot of people are going to a whole bunch of different places. But so we're gonna go to this new, man, something very distracting. Is that a goose screeching? I don't know what that is. Because usually if it's geese, they all start honking at each other. But it's loud. I don't know if it's in distress. But anyway, so to me, that would be going more into the positive energy and learning how to like control it through what you bring in to you. It's like it's like it's more of going into how the universal laws work and getting more in connection with them rather than how we've been living disconnected from them. So that would be going into this quantum world, is living more in connection and going more in that energy. And so, and it takes these steps to get there, and that's what this whole big awakening thing is about, is to move people into this state of being where you have more control over it, like where you are living more efficiently, more with intention, where you can manifest the life that you want instead of manifesting the one that you got, because you are creating the life that you have. You just, people just don't realize it. And so anyways, but there's a lot of steps because you have all these other things that has got, where it's the karmic burden, the after effects that you carry with you that didn't get cleaned up at the end. And so your character came and played another character to try and let go of shit, but it just goes and goes and goes. And then look at, like, even when people are here and people are waking up, they're still resistant. They still, cut people off, and they don't see the benefit of the conflict. And they just want to react in anger and bitterness and all of their pain and suffering to come lead their life. And so it is, that's why I said this is really such a positive thing when you don't be reactive, when you go and you sit with it, you process through, because a lot of different things come to you that help you. And then you start seeing things on this other level where you get to like see yourself, see your own a blind reaction to what somebody says, and realizing, oh, those are blockages, why I see it this way or that way. And, how do you get the blockages down to clear your vision? And so that's what all this stuff is, is like helping you to do this process. But there's so much resistance, and it's all so much about ego, so much about illusion, being confused with reality. And there's just so much, the whole taking a knee, surrender, because there's a God out there who's going to get you if you don't, and there's a lot of stuff, man. But anyways, so hopefully that makes sense, because I really want to say about this other thing that I had seen, because this is something I think some people just, they just don't know yet. And so I think it's important to say it so that people can keep hearing it and it can keep spreading. So you got to throw the stone in to create the ripple. Even though there's some people who already have thrown their stone in and know this stuff, I'm still going to say it, because there's people who don't. And so I guess now in Washington State, they've taken another step. They're taking the craziest steps. And that's one thing too, is take notice over the state's abilities to put this stuff into motion. So they can come up with any fucking sad ass scheming fucking bullshit and say, well, that's our laws here in Washington State. That's how we do things. Well, over here is California. This is how we do things. as Organians, this is how we do. Like, we're all in this little fucking bullshit. And so, but see, the feds can't come in and see. This is where you gotta, people have got to start seeing, like, this is where we gotta control, is in the state. Like, this federal bullshit. All these people are hung up on, and you got these Congress senators out there skipping, singing, and dancing. Pay attention to me, bring me in. Make my fucking reality valid. It's like, nope, you're going. Sorry. We're moving forward. We're going to focus over here. You're out. And see, that's a changing of focus. And so and it's a changing into a more positive, streamlined, a world of existence, not having the interference. But we have to recognize the interference and let it go. And we have to see, why are we holding on to it? And so it's going to be crazy once we start seeing, like, what was it that was holding you in so tight? But anyways, so the lawmakers, uh, trying to keep themselves valid or whatever, and it's all, it just keeps falling apart, keeps falling apart of the lessons. But also in the lessons, there is this thing of, because some of us in these blue states are getting just ridiculous bullshit put through, just one after another, and they're not even, it's not going, we're not voting on this shit. It's just boom, this is a new one, boom, this is a new one, boom, this is a new one. We can take your kids if you want to change your gender. We can, they can, well, in Canada, they can off themselves. But here, there's a whole bunch of other things, because they still want to use them as lab rat patients and stuff like that. So kids can go get on medication, whatever. There's a lot of stuff, like 13 years old. Parents can't access their medical records. There's also so much bullshit. So they got a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff about school rights, and parents don't have rights, schools do, and over their kids and stuff. So, and anyways, the let me think, because the schools having all the, okay, so in this new thing that they have done now, because before, I guess now, like, it doesn't matter what drug you have on you. If you have drugs on you, all you got to do is say, I'm in the midst of my addiction. I have no control. And then it's like, okay, go ahead. So I guess unless you have enough that they decide that you're going to sell some. So if you're just a street druggie, then, it's okay. Take your drugs and go kill yourself over in that corner. They don't give a shit. And it's dinner for somebody. So anyways, so they go, and now they've put it in, so it's not just that they're going to supply them with needles and you can have all your own stuff and everything, but now they're going to supply them with good narcotics. Like, we just got to step in. We got to just open it up, and you cannot see the marriage between the government on the farm. Like, it is, we are a government farm. That's what we are. We're a fucking government farm. And then these people who create the supply. So, and they created this huge amount of addiction. Like, they would be able to vote that in probably, because those people would straighten up for a day. Like, yeah, but I think they've already made it a thing. Like, they've already said, oh, we're going to do this. They're raising the taxes. Who's going to pay for it? Of course. You're going to pay for it. And pharmacy is going to get charged how much ever they want. So taxes are going to, of course, keep going up, because pharmacy's got to raise they didn't know they were going to have to give this much, and they got to keep making improvements on this stuff. They can't help it that this whole society became a bunch of addicts. It's not their fault. They're just trying to do their part to help out, keep people safe, so they're not having to do street drugs, man. And us, the taxpayer, will pay for that shit. Hell yeah. Why wouldn't we? Because we don't have a say over it. They just take and they just increase. They just do what they want. And we just sit in there and take it. Here, could you please use the Vaseline? It's like, nope, not this one. We're going to fuck you hard over and over and over and over. No wonder everybody's fucking sick. So, anyways, Yeah, that's the absurd shit that they're doing. That's why I was just seeing about that. And then when I went to go look and it was 420, and I was like, that's so weird because I was going to be talking about the absurdity of this whole fucking drug bullshit. And they go and create it and they make this place. So what do we turn into this? God. I mean, how many more people? Well, it's legal. Well, everybody else is doing it. I mean, what the hell? Oh my God. It would be mass exodus. You'd be one side or the other. Yeah, you want to be strung out on drugs and live, with them controlling you, or you want to be the people who pay for them to live on drugs, or you want to go live somewhere else. I will see. We'll see how it all plays out. It's absurd. It's totally absurd. And so it's gonna keep going because this is the stuff that where you got to make choices. You got to make your priorities. You got to figure it out. And so fuck, I don't even know. I swear to God, I just want doors to start opening. It is this morning is the tour of the one little place. So once she goes and does the tour, then I'll see what their next step is. If then they say, well, okay, so if you like it, you can apply, which I still don't know. She could go in and say it smells like a litter box because there's a carpet in there. A lot of the ones I was looking at was all wood or, pergo, whatever, that kind of fake wood floor. But those will, I don't know, they just seem cleaner than you go and move into rental carpet. Like, ugh, gross. Um, and I'm sure if it's all pea smell or whatever, but then they go paint the walls. So, but these walls don't look painted. It doesn't look very fixed up. I mean, it looks like a little tiny house. So then, the next step then would be to fill in the application. But then they've got so many different things they can deny me on, the credit score. They can say, you've been foreclosed on, we're not going to sell. Because I don't even know how that's showing up yet. And, but I do have like a little storyline going on it. Because that was my projected vacation home, which it was. I was going there to do that. And it really was a whole bunch of shit that went on to change how that was going. But I haven't really lived here for 3-4 years. I've really only been here for a few months. So anyways, that's a little addition. Well, I wasn't over there all the time. I just went over there to do some work. But yeah, I lost it because I was trying to buy a place and whatever. But it was a vacation home to try and make money on or whatever. Whatever. We'll just see what uh, what goes on. Because they may say, well, she could say that it stinks. I wouldn't live there, or the neighborhood's really sketch or something. I don't know. We'll just gotta see what she comes back as. But that is, but I'm not gonna stress out about it or whatever because that's how it works in the universe. It's going to open doors, or it's going to keep them closed. So you can go around knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking. But if the doors don't open, then they don't open because that's not the direction you're supposed to go. And then sometimes there's this whole test on like, well, where's the door going to open? When's it going to open? You're looking for an open door, open fucking window. But when you find an open window, so you don't want to go crawling through a window because that is where you're trying to just find any way out. And then that will just lead you into more dramas and traumas and lessons and shit like that. So you want to wait for the door to open where it's obvious like, oh, go through this door. And sometimes it's go through this door and then go through another door and go through another door. It's not just like one door and you're in. It's like you have to go through several, so you have different people to meet or steps to occur or whatever. So it's the journey. It's the journey in life. That sounds so dramatic. I don't know what it is. I don't hear it every day. Sounds like it's very upset about something. There's a bunch of chickens down there, but it doesn't. Now it sounds like crows. I think it's crows. Yeah, I bet you it's crows. So, anyways, I've heard crows make some weird fucking noises too. Like they can sound like machines and stuff. Um, anyways, so whatever with their bullshit. But see, that's where people have got to stand up and say, like, this is fucking nonsense. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna be the drug city, the drug state. And every drug yeah, just come here and we'll pay for it. And then they've got control over the cost. They got control over the grade, so they can knock people off when they want to knock people off. Well, they must have taken too much. We have a recommendation. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's so much. They don't have to. It's just a way in, you know. All of this stuff. A guy was at the airport. I saw a video the other day. A guy was at the airport, and there's something, I guess, if you go on your Bluetooth in certain places, like some people even do it at cemeteries, and you find that there is all these things trying to connect to you because all these people are carrying this little thing inside of them. I don't know, a tracker device or something, I guess, that was put in with this. And so they have a number on it too. Like, you have a number if you have that device inside of you. And then when they go on to Bluetooth, they can, all these things try and connect. So, and this guy was at the airport. He was like, oh my God, I cannot believe how many. It was all these people's thing was trying to connect to his phone. He said there's like 100. And I in the comments, I said, well, don't forget that was one of the reasons why people were getting that to travel. So yeah, of course, when you go there, a lot of the people, like, they weren't going to give up on that. I don't know, give me what you want. I'll do anything to make sure I get to travel. It's like, God, you guys, the priorities. It's like that lady, with the silver hair, and her bones are getting worse and stuff. And it would still be, I'm going to do my silver hair, your skin, everything is going to be getting worse. Your skin, your hair, your bones, your body, because all the minerals are being sucked out of it. And it's like, well, I look good. It's like, well, for how long? Like, that's kind of a story. Like, I don't know if it was Dorian Gray or whatever. There was something that I could see that when I was a kid. And it's weird when you see adults that are like, I don't see it yet, but I guess it's something that you have to learn. And so, yeah, I mean, is it worth it if it's going to make you way worse? I was like, when I had said about retinol, when everybody was going on that for, I don't know, it was like 20 years ago or something, and everybody, it was like a big thing. Everybody's going on it. I think it was before in those things, which I'm still dealing with that bullshit, as though before Botox situation though. And or maybe it was during that phase or the beginning of it or whatever, but a whole bunch of people were on retinol. And when I went and I asked the doctor, well, could I get some of that retinol cream? And because you could buy a tube of it for like 25 bucks or something. And she said, yeah, I can give you a prescription, but if you start it, you can never stop, because as soon as you stop, your skin goes like, and then think about too, who's got control over it? Who's got control over the price? Who's got control over the like how strong it is or any of that stuff? So, but you go on that stuff looking for a quick fix, getting too caught up in what's shallow and stuff. There's an after effect, and there's always the counter. It's something that, like, there's a counter. And so, yeah, if you prioritize something really shallow, that there's going to be a part that's going to come up to show you how shallow it is. It's going to be a part that's going to, like, hurt. So, anyways, but everybody's got lessons. Everybody's got their own lessons to come here and experience and learn. And everything is about the experience, and your higher self is having an experience. And it's projection into the experience, but you're the aspect of self that is the feeling of being in the experience. You're the character that was created to go into the experience. And so the because you create different characters to go into different experiences. And so, anyways, in the slowed down version, it seems like it's super slow. Isn't it weird how every day there's something that interferes with my voice, my being able to be heard? Every day, every single day. See what I'm talking about with these things? Like, life is making sure that you have to push through, you have to overcome all of these things that can be really frustrating. You keep trying to talk louder and louder. My voice isn't that loud. So this is loud, the snoring is loud, it's just every day there's something. It's weird. Cat fights, the I don't know, planes going by are loud. So I don't even know all the interference. But anyways, okay, so let me see all the stuff I was talking about. Let's see if I finished. So the animals should live way longer. Like 25 years does not seem crazy to think your dog should live 25 years, especially that one dog that just died at like 35 years old or something. So that does not seem crazy, and it seems kind of sad that we've been whittled down to like 6, 10, 15 years with some of these animals. Some people, it's like real lucky if you get to be like 18 years or 21. That's like crazy remarkable. But then I think things should be more like how our time is going to go way longer. I don't think they'll go into living forever kind of thing, like how we can make, we can decide if we want to be in that life anymore and just go into a different one. And see, that's when we start being able to be quantum going, is in that higher thing. Like in the heavens, you move different. And so that's why, people who are already dead would be able to just come into the age of Aquarius, the same place we're going. And so it's, but I can see, like, when we're there, how we would be able to just go somewhere else. And so quantum leaping or whatever. But in here, like, there's a density. I don't know. What are you going to leave your body behind? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes. But when they start giving more information on the quantum thing, but like, I know in the heavens and stuff, in the higher vibration, you can just think someplace and just be there. And so you can just go wherever you want to go. But I don't think we're in the same like bubble, like how this experience is in this like bubble, and we're going out of the bubble. And so then it opens up the world. It opens up your travel and stuff. And so, but we got to go out of the bubble. And these people are like changing timelines and stuff in the bubble. It's like, we're still in the bubble. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But we are moving out of, like, we are, because we're pushing so hard, it's like the bubble's getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And then it's got the collapse that's going to happen. When the collapse happens, it's like the same thing as like when the fence fell. And Max, he's looking, because Archie and Max were out there with me, and the wind was just gusting. And I don't know, I was picking up poop or something. I don't know, I was standing outside. Maybe I was standing there smoking or something. And a big gust of wind just came out of nowhere. It was this big gust. And it just, the whole fence just collapsed at once. I was like, and it's wire. It's not like, man, I can't believe it. And so it just all collapsed at once, and I'm just like, fuck. So it's like, what do I do? What do I do? So I start trying to get them to go in, and Max is like, hell. Like, you could just see him thinking real quick. And Archie was so confused, like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And I'm like, go in. But he's always looking at Max, like, what do I do, Max? What do I do, Max? I'm like, go in. And Max is like, hell no. And so I pushed Archie in and shut the garage door real quick, as Max he just took off, and it was like Archie would have just gone right after him. So anyways, then I'm glad that it worked that way. I mean, so Max just takes off and runs across the fence and takes off and goes. And then after he's gone for a few minutes, he comes back, sneaks on by me, see what I'm doing. And he can see me sitting there struggling, put the fence up. But he's like, oh, I'm taking advantage more. So he goes off another direction. So, but it's kind of going to be like that when this bubble burst, when the collapse happens, when this big lights come on, change over. So it's going to be kind of like those different things where you're going to have a group of people. It's going to be like, what's going on? What's going on? And then you're going to have the other one's like, well, I'm going. Here's my opening. And so that will be the quantum leap, where they keep saying there's lots of tarot people and stuff saying there's about to be this big quantum leap. Well, those of us who are waiting for this opening, yeah, we're about to leap. We're about to ride that energy in a whole new way. It's like surfing the main wave, man. And so the the personality of the, as soon as Max saw the open door to take off, that is where there's going to be a whole group of people who do that, who are going to take off in a whole new direction. And to me, it is, they've been preparing for it. They've been getting ready for it. And when it opens, they're going to be ready to go. There's other people who are going to be confused by it and not know which direction to go, be looking to others to get for answers, and that they're going to be confused. And so, yeah, it can be different things that can happen. Like you could be, I think that they've been pushing people back this whole time, trying to control people's awakening. So that part has been, you've been being pushed back by the media, there's a lot of things. Somebody was even saying about all of these influencers that are being paid to keep people distracted and keep people down in the dumps or stressed out or whatever, misled. So, and see, there's going to be a whip around for that energy. These people, like, this is the part I don't get. Like, you're pushing towards something, like you don't see the other side coming. It's like, well, this is going to be quite the wake-up call, because I saw that when I was a kid. And for people who haven't seen that yet, yeah, that's going to be quite the wake-up call, because the energy you've been putting out is about to whip back up on you, and you're going to see the other side of it. And so, but there's a lot of people who have that awareness, who have been trying to be very mindful of what they've been putting out. That's living with intention. And so have been a lot more mindful and pushing into a certain direction that is going to, all of a sudden, the doors are going to open and it's going to take off and it's going to swirl into this whole new thing, which the people who were scared or whatever, it's going to help them to see all of this occur, but they're going to still go through their period of time of what they hadn't seen. They've still got to go through their blockages. And so, but they're going to have more of a direction to go. This direction so far has been very independent led. Like you have to figure shit out for yourself and push through. So you have to really connect to your spirit and connect to yourself in order to know what to do, and how to get there and stuff. Like it was my spirit, my communication, and my, which also the algorithm is a part of the communication. So I'll just call all of that together the communication. But the communication was coming in for me to go into the stuff for my health and stuff. Like that wasn't something I calculated or whatever. It came to me. And so, and it was formatted inside of me. It was programmed inside of me. So as it comes to me, it's going into my program. And so it was always meant to be that way. I was always meant to go through those problems and heal. Here comes the helicopter now. Man, it's just like intense lately. See how close it gets. I can feel it. I can feel it in my toes. I can feel it in my, through my, the whole thing of my body. I can feel this thing going. God, it's intense the closer it gets. The energy. Fuck. You see how it feels like it's like, sounds like it's like diving. The sounds are weird. It's like you can hear something diving over here, and you can hear something, and then it's so weird. Our atmosphere, the sound, everything, the way sound travels is so different now. So, anyways, but the I think I was talking about vibration. That oh yeah, okay, yeah. But so when this occurrence happens, that is going to be the two different directions. Like, but at this point, it's not a separation. I don't think. Oh yeah, and I saw a guy talking again about that. Oh yeah, I can see it, but the Kuliyunga, this pattern of energy of and so what he was saying is that the the Kali Luga, I don't know what it is, but one of the patriarch, and so the men being in charge of the world is during the dark times. During the dark times, we need that power, and we need protection and stuff like that. So during that time, the patriarch. So in this splitting, because it's the feminine energy that was splitting off, and that is what goes to the light, and that's the we're in the feminine energy when we're in the golden age, and that we're in this separation of these two energies. But that's why it seems like in the micro macro that there's such a division. But it's the men kind of needing to heal their mother wounds, get in touch with their, getting comfortable with their more feminine side, because those are all their healing things, and then they all go more into that energy. So it's not like the men against the women, because we all have both things inside of us. So it's not the men against the women, it's you healing whatever the wounds you have to get you into that energy of love and forgiveness and trust towards women. Is if you're in the male role, then you would be more having to learn how to trust the female role, whereas it's during the other, it's always been to minimize the female and not value her. And that's why we have this big thing going on over women's sports and women's rights and women's bathrooms and all this stuff, is because it's the pushback on us, because our energy is coming forth, it's coming forward, it's leading into the golden age, because it's about light, birthing, unity, uh, the all of the things of giving into a new world. And it's that energy is the world that we stay into, this abundant, loving kind of thing, until I don't know that it will go back into the darkness once it goes up into the higher vibration. That's once it goes into the heavens. I don't know that it goes back into the hells, because in here it was able to go through these cycles, but I don't know if it's busting out of these cycles too. Like, it's going quantum, it's no longer going to be in the dark cycles. So I don't know, but there'll be other places that will go through these different kinds of cycles, and maybe these cycles have played out. Maybe it's the whole ending of that cycle of the I don't see how the light and the dark can ever end, because it's feeds off of each other. It gives each other value, it gives each other existence. You don't know what you are without the reflection back. So, and you need to have the reflection of both. With just the light, you can't see yourself. So you need the dark to give depth of perception. So in order to really fully see yourself, you need both dark and light. And you are of both dark and light. You're both male and female. You're all things. And so but we're going into this splitting of these energies. And so at this splitting, it's going to be people who want to still follow the dark, who want to still go towards the power and being kind of like being a prisoner, really. But there's still experiences to play out. So it's not like they're choosing that. They're choosing what experiences their soul is here to experience. So it's not like, well, I just want to be a prisoner. No, it's like it has something to do with more to their depth of their soul. And so, but those of us who are going towards the light, that is going towards the feminine energy. So these two energies will split off. But right now, it's more of the, let's see, because if you look at it with the energy, it's the flipping. it's like it's gonna flip over, but it's like so you can see it clearly, because so many people cannot see what they're working with. So then when they see it clearly, that's when they have to find their balance. But that's the part of the, we have this awakening part to go through before this energies can split off from each other. I think, like, I will be surprised if it splits off and people haven't even woke up yet. That doesn't make any sense to me, but then I don't know. Maybe that's, they didn't need to, because that was part of how it was going to work. I don't know. But what makes sense to me is wake up, see the truth, and then make your decision. And then, what you align with is more pure and authentic. And so whatever you align with is what you are programmed to align with. So, but so maybe it is sooner. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so the uh, the feminine energy is going to go towards the age of Aquarius, the abundancy, the golden age, and that is this separation thing. These two energies crossing paths and stuff. Because I haven't seen, like, I don't know all that stuff, and I think if you want to look it up, maybe it's like Hinduism or I don't know, Buddhism, like all the stuff that I've ever looked up in the Buddhism is a lot more about a philosophy of living in life, like, kind of as if you just took the stuff Jesus said and you just were like his philosophy to life. That's kind of like Buddhism, the Buddha philosophy to life, to live a better life. Kind of like what I'm sitting here giving my philosophy of life and how to live a better life. That would be considered just my philosophy of life. It's like there's no basis to it, I guess. So, anyways, but when you start talking about some of these Eastern philosophies and stuff, like like there's more with Hinduism and stuff, and Ayurvedic and older stuff. I mean, it could even be Gnostic. I don't know, but so these it's Kali Yuga or something. Kali, I don't know. There's a lot of different things like that. That's why I said, like, there's a lot to spirituality when you start going out and trying to understand, like, where does all of the different religions come from? Where are all these different beliefs and how are they formed? Where do they come from? Where, and start trying to figure out your own understanding of, what you're doing here, why you're here, what this place is all about. And I swear to God, it goes from one sound to the next, because now the snoring. Like, what the fuck? But maybe that's because the energy's about to bust forward and the censorship's about to be released or something. I don't know. So, let me think. I'm so fucking hungry too. My stomach will not stop growling. I can't wait to get it. I really would like to just zip up there and get some donuts, but I'm trying to be better. So instead I'll just make cinnamon toast. So let's see. I think I'll make more bread today. Yesterday I spent the whole day making, oh yeah, I watched this good show. I'm going to finish it this morning. It's really good. But of course it's new, so it's got fucking programming and indoctrination. And if you don't see through it, boy, you can see how it can make people, they just put it out there so much. And some of these people who play these parts, it's like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, can you not see they're pushing an agenda and you're just like the player? Just take it real serious. It's so annoying. But anyways, but the show is good. I really like it. But I was making soup all day because the other day when I went to get food, I didn't look at Costco. I went and looked at Spokane Discount, which is where they get all the Costco stuff that it was opened and then they sell it for cheaper. So you can get dog food for cheaper there, not open cans, but where people open the big things. And so you can buy cans, and sometimes you can buy the open things. It depends. And but so it's a little bit cheaper. So I was going to get some there, but then they were totally out. There was none. I was like, oh, dang it. Because if the power goes out, you can't cook. And which, though, the one neighbor saw me in the street the other day and said, well, if the power goes out, we can use their generator to cook too if we want. So I could take my Instapot over and cook if it's out for weeks or whatever. But then it's like, well, what are you cooking? Because food's all going to be rotten anyways. So, anyways, yesterday I spent all day and I cooked 4 big pots of soup and put a bunch in the freezer. So I have a few days of if the power goes out of being able to have food, and plus you can ration it. It depends on how it goes out, like, and what happens, But from anywhere until now, confirmation, and from anywhere till now until which there's another little thing about the July 4th, because you got a lot of people focused on it because there's a lot of threats about it, and then when you add up the numbers, that there's a number, when you add up 2 and 7. No, 7 and 4. Sorry. So it's going to be 7, 4. So when you add those two numbers, then you get an 11. Then you go in and you add 2 plus 2, and that's 4. And then you add 4 to the 5, and then you get the 9. And so then when you flip that number, and then when you think about military time, so they're going through all of this stuff, as saying like that they take these threats seriously that are coming in for this date, but also everything is to go. It's for to go in the other direction, so we can have a lot of stuff leading up, and maybe that's going to be our because that's supposed to be the birthday of the. You get this too, because this just came to me too. Was the so July the birth of America? That's happy birthday situation. But then the army was their birthday was before the birth of the planet, or before the birth of the country. Like what? We just had so it was the army was like what? Is this going to be the 251st birthday? Because what is the 4th of July celebration, Independence? And so I don't know. All these stories are just beginning to just be like, what? Wait a minute. How does this fit? How does this fit? Like, it's too absurd. It's too, like, there's too much ridiculousness. But that, to me, is this slow pulling off the Band-Aid to teach you to see things differently or something. But so that could be, where we will be celebrating the birth of something new, maybe, because there's a whole bunch of things over these dates in the end of June. Yeah, so I say anytime, in which today I think is the 20th. I think yesterday was the 19th when I thought it was the 18th. I'm so messed up on the dates and days and stuff. Oh yeah, because today's 20th, 420. So anytime, I think anytime from now until, I don't know, July 5th or something, that you got to be prepared for whatever. There's way too many things up in the air, and there's way too many threats being said, and we are at this precipice of change. So we're on the verge of something going down. We just don't know when or how or whatever, and then people don't don't really value it because, well, it didn't happen, so it's not going to happen. Well, it's going to happen. We just don't know the day and time, and so it's coming. Something's coming, and there's constantly being talk about the power grid being down for fucking. I've heard 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks. It never comes back on. Like, I've heard of everything. So I would say, it would probably be more of the shorter, but there can be certain regions where it's going to be really long because there's going to be possibly more damage to certain places. And if you're in a place that it does, I would say, some places, I would think the minimum would be 3 days for some places, but some places be 5, some 7, some 10, some probably never come back on. But just got to see what happens. But you got to be prepared for whatever. And like some people are saying, make sure you got gas in your car. These are all things we've been hearing for years and years and years. So it's like just you're constantly got to be in preparation. And so I got this giant thing of peanut butter. I got a bunch of crackers, and I made them some food. And so we'll just, I feel like, you can do what you can do. And so we'll see what happens. But it definitely seems like there's a lot of tension from now, like in astrology and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that keeps showing this splitting and stuff. But the tipping over, it's this tipping over of the energy. It's like, yeah, it is kind of like where you're looking at the glass half full or half empty. Well, it's about to tip over. And so, and that's going to be when tips over. It's like some people's sign to go, and then for others it's going to be like, confusion, like not knowing what's going on. And so that is going to be like that emperor new clothes moment, where it's going to be like a lot of emotions are going to be felt at once, like they're going to go through a lot of things. And that's going to be the awakening thing, the realization. And that's what's going to put them on a new trek, the new trail. But in the trail is going to be very rocky and very stumbly, especially for some people, depending on what they've accumulated in karmic debt and stuff. So, what their abilities to look at themselves. So that is where it's going to get really treacherous and tricky for a lot of people. And the healing journey is going to become serious business. And it will become serious business. You're going to see the healing industry is going to blow the fuck up. And I think a lot of, like a lot of these nurses and doctors and stuff that have been displaced through this stuff, I think that they can go towards that, but they're going to have new learning to do too. Like, you got to understand the impact of nutrition and toxins and the mental health, the journey back to self, the self-love, go from self-loathing to self-love is a journey. And so, in mind, body, spirit is the biggest player. So, some of these doctors and nurses are all science mind. And so it's going to be, but then you've got the spiritual people who are real focused on spirituality and an understanding about stuff about mind, body, spirit. But they're very closed off on, they're very led in a certain direction of blue, and it very much confuses that. There's a lot of confusion on them, but there's going to be clarity. But see, it's a very even the healing industry is going to be in an expansion from the different people having to heal to get there to help the next ones heal. It's going to be like like going across a thing, and each person having to help somebody cross over this barrier. So you're always stepping back to help somebody move forward, and it's like a conveyor belt. And so it's going to be people healing and helping each other, just a conveyor belt of it. And so and it's going to be rough for some people. Like I said, they're going to have a lot of stuff that they have to heal. But another thing that's curious too is but I know that there's going to be a lot, because there's going to be a lot of suicide that's going to happen, because they're going to be so hard to face themselves. So because I was going to say, well, I wonder if the harder, more karmic debt ones were already healing, and that's why we had to wake up sooner. But no, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to do themselves in, because facing themselves is going to be too much. So we'll see, because seems like a more of a time crunch, but really the dark night of the soul, the part where you really get in touch to yourself before you even start the journey to healing, is the recognition of your dark side, the dark night of the soul or whatever, where you face it. And that can take 8 or 9 months. And so that's why I say that this splitting is like a year and a half after this other thing. And so after everybody has this moment of recognition and realization, and everything flips, this energy flips, and some people go in these different kind of directions, and people start being like, wait a minute, what, they're going to start seeing things a lot more with clarity and understanding, and they're going to start going towards wanting to heal. But there is going to be this moment of recognition, this moment of a lot of feeling, a lot of different emotions, feeling exposed, then going into like an isolation, like where people want to just go in their room and be left alone. Just leave me alone. I just need to be alone. It'll be a lot of that. If somebody around you is doing that, don't put pressure on them. Don't try and let people come to you. Don't be going at them. That's a lot. If you've ever been the person who's having somebody go at you, it's a lot. Just, you got to stay back, even though you're going to feel like you're not doing anything, you're not helping. You are helping energetically, pulling back your energy and letting them feel their own. And once they feel their own and they come into going through their process, then they can, but always just answer questions, kind of. Don't try and give more than what because then it just is too much. Just pull back some. Don't feel like you have to fix it for them, because you're not going to be able to fix it for them. That's going to be a part of your journey, part of your challenges. You cannot fix any of this stuff for anybody. And so each person's on their own at this point. And so, but there's going to be a lot of confusion, and there's going to be a lot of people who have answers for some of the confusion, and they're going to want to share it. But just don't overshare it. Don't just be pushing it on people like you've got all the answers, because that's going to really irritate people. And then they may push back from all your answers. So just, let people ask, and then, drop some seeds and let them percolate. Let them, let them grow, let them fester or whatever. So then once that goes, that is going to be a big energetic surge that's going to come in. And that is where I think the firmament gets real shaky, and the blast from the solar blasts and stuff, and it starts really picking up, because everybody starts going in this new direction. And as that picks up, that just bursts us loose. And that bursting us loose, that to me is the separation. That's the big bang. That's where we know we're going towards the age of Aquarius now. Right now, we're just on the journey towards something that we believe in, but we're going to be blasted towards it at some point. There's going to be some blast, just like we have these solar flash, these what do they call these coronal injections or something? Coronal, I don't know. These things that are solar things, and they're registering them and all this stuff. So that energy is going to continue to go and get bigger and more dramatic, and it's going to, blow the roof off things, and it's going to have some, like, this is going to be very impactful, this moment of recognition of things turning the other direction. But then the big moment is this changing, this separation of the energy. I just don't see that as being the first thing. So, and I know that there's some people who do. So I don't know, I don't know who's right and who's wrong. We'll see. There's nothing to argue about. It's like, well, we'll see. It's going to happen right in front of us. So, we'll know one way or the other. If, and if they don't get a chance to wake up first, then it's part of their journey. It's a part of their soul journey. It's not like anybody, you can't do it wrong. It's impossible to do it wrong. So if you want to sit in judgment and say that somebody's doing it wrong because they're not doing the way that you think that they should, or what you want them to, then that's when you got to question yourself. Well, why do I feel like I'm the one who has to, figure it out for everybody? Why do I feel like they have to do what I want them to do and stuff? So that's where you got to question yourself, like, to understand yourself. Because that's how you get more control over your destiny, your journey, you going in the direction that you want to go in, instead of the one you feel forced into. Like, life is just giving you this journey. Well, you can change it into another one, but you got to change your energy. You got to change your vibration. And like I said, whatever you do is always what you're going to do. You're not throwing a curveball to the universe. It's it knows exactly what's going to happen. You are just in the experience to feel what it feels like as the shit happens. So, because you gain great knowledge from that expansion. And so from that experience, everything to me is about experience, to understand yourself. And in every bit of understanding yourself is more wanting to do more and understand yourself more, and to it's like this constant tweaking of yourself, this constant, and it's this constant raising your vibration. But the raising your vibration is so much through the like an acknowledgement of, instead of judgment towards others, it's an allowance. It's like allowing things to be, acknowledging, you can see things, but you're not trying to control things. It's like this whole other way of trying to exist instead of trying to control it all. So anyways, hopefully I'm making sense now. God, how does it go from 104 to 138 on 139? A split second. It felt like it was a split second. So anyways, time is really weird right now, so let's just get on with the day. I've got cinnamon toast to make. Let's look at my tooth. Yesterday I was, I think, I don't know, we'll see. And I'm pretty sure that is just orange. There's no gray. I haven't seen gray for a couple of days. So I think it's just darkness in the orange, but I think that is a positive thing. Like now it's going to start getting more of the hard shell on there, hopefully. More protection. It still has like some sensitivity, but it's not nothing like what it was. And it seems like it keeps getting better and better, but there's like some weird things like where this tooth can all of a sudden hit into that one. It's like a very like, whew, that was something. So, oh, that was a weird sound too. Sound like something just hit that. I think some of the birds out there, they are like hitting into the wall or something. I don't know. Everything is so weird, so intense. But I'm telling you, and all of the things going on, you can't go wrong working on yourself. You just can't. And trying to not, and to pull free from fear and, and recognize, put recognition into what you do focus on, because it matters. It really does matter where you focus your energy and how you focus your energy. And that's this telescope, this microscope. That's you pulling in your focus and deciding what it is that you want to see, what it is that you want to experience. And that is where you can start going into the experiences you want, but you have to, there's a reason why you aren't. And so you got to fix that reason. You got to figure out why is the reason I'm not living my best life. What is holding me back? And start taking it apart. And so, and all I see it so much as, but it was a part of my journey for sure. And so I think it's a part of a lot of people's journey, is this devaluing yourself. Oh yeah, I wanted to say about this show too, because it's on Prime and it's called The Better Sister, which has got a lot of things in it, but it's a mystery, and but it's got a lot of really interesting things about relationships and family, and so it's really good. But it also has a really good mystery to it, and it's Jennifer Beals and Elizabeth Perkins, not Elizabeth Perkins, Elizabeth. How is it that I can say her name one day, and then the next day it's like, wait a minute, what's her name again? Well, she's from the Hunger Games. I don't know. She's a well-known actress. I can't think of her name. Anyways, then she plays one of the sisters is the uptight sister, kind of, and one of them is the like druggy, more carefree sister, and but it's cool because there's no wrong or right. It's both sides, and you see these different sides. So, anyways, it's really good. And it has some dynamics that I'm familiar with. And I think that there'll be some other women who find some dynamics in there that they would find very familiar too. So anyways, it's a good show. And I was watching that yesterday while I was, it's like an 8 hour series or something on Prime. And I'm on middle of episode 7. So I have 7 and 8 to go. So I still don't know, who the killer is or whatever. But but I was watching it yesterday while I was cooking all this food, and I still had time for a 2-hour nap. If I wouldn't have taken my nap, I probably would have finished the show, but you just can't stop yourself. You gotta go to sleep when you gotta go to sleep. And it's like, it'll just hit me, and I'll be like, man, I just cannot stay awake. My eyes are burning and stuff. So, anyways, learning how to value yourself is important, and putting yourself into the position that you want to be, and stop being the victim into this world. And then that is when you take control of your life, take control of yourself, and value yourself. And it goes from being your worst enemy into being your best friend. So learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody, because right away you're going to start learning how to love everybody. Once you can learn how to love yourself, I'm telling you, you just start learning how to love everybody. You can just see, like, nobody is my enemy. They're just all broken. Everybody's just suffering. Everybody's just struggling. Nobody's trying to, out to get me. They're just in their own struggle. So learning how to love yourself is key. Learning how to love everybody else, and then it's just automatically, you're going to be able to figure out how to have the day you want to have. So focus your energy on that stuff. You can't go wrong. And then as the powers that be, we'll see, and I'll talk to you tomorrow as long as it's in the cards. So talk to you later. Hopefully I completed and didn't leave you hanging on too much. If I did, you can just comment in the comments, and if I see them, because there's also that. There's comments where it says there's comments, but I can't see them. So anyways, talk to you tomorrow. Bye.